Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's very nice to see you all here at Sahaja Online. And today we are having our concluding session of this series of chakra meditation. My name is Svarnyk. I'm your instructor today. And so our session, as usual, we'll start with a short guided meditation, just to get us settled into the right mood. And then I will present today's topic, which today is the seventh energy center, the top chakra, which is called the Sahaja chakra. And then we'll have a second guided meditation, after which we will try to keep some time for Q&A. And so with that in mind, let us go directly into the session. So what I will ask you to do, I will ask you to actually sit comfortably. It is very important that there is nothing distracting you, because there is really no need to challenge ourselves too much. There are always other things that maybe might not be able to predict that will be able to distract us. And so as much as possible, it would be great if we are in a comfortable and quiet environment. Our notifications, our devices are muted, that if possible, we are in a place which is quiet and where we are not disturbed too much. Now, what we will do is we will start this session with raising our energy and putting ourselves into a protective shield, as we've been doing. And we will do this by following the video, the instructional video that we have of it. So we'll do this all together.
Sit comfortably on a chair and relax. You may close your eyes if it helps you to relax and focus. Now, focus your attention on the top of your head. The goal is to raise your inner energy to the crown of your head and tie it up. As the energy rises up your spine, it will gradually shift your consciousness into the state of thoughtless awareness. To raise your inner energy, first place your left hand in front of your lower abdomen, with your palm facing your body. Then slowly raise your left hand to the top of your head, and as your left hand is ascending, rotate your right hand around it in a clockwise direction, swirling around and around until both hands are above your head. Now, imagine that you are tying a knot with a short rope, and using both hands, perform the gesture of tying a knot above your head, as if you are actually tying up your inner energy. Now, lower both hands, and starting with your left palm facing your lower abdomen, repeat this process of raising the energy and tying the knot 3 times. The second time, tying 2 knots at the top of your head. The third time, tying 3 knots at the top of your head. This technique will help focus your attention and raise your inner energy to the crown chakra or energy center. The goal is to raise the energy, achieve a connection to the universal cosmic energy through your crown energy center, and establish the state of meditation. Now, you want to form a shield of protection to protect your subtle energy system and to preserve your ability to remain in the state of thoughtless awareness. First, place your left hand on your lap, palm upwards. Next, place your right hand beside your left hip. Slowly raise your right hand over your head and sweep it down the right side of your upper body. Then sweep your right hand back up the right side of your body, over your head, and down the left side of your body. Repeat sweeping your right hand up over your head and down 7 times to form a shield.
All right. Now we can place both of our hands open on our lap. If you're sitting on the chair, you might want to place both of your feet flat on the ground, slightly apart. If you're sitting cross-legged on the floor, that's also fine, whatever is comfortable for you. And now that we have already raised our energy, let us see whether we can bring all of our attention to the top of our head. And let's see whether we can have our attention settle in this top energy center on top of our head. If you find it difficult, you can take your right hand and place it on top of your head and settle your attention on top of your head like this. And then once your attention is settled, you can slowly bring your hand back on your lap, but keep your attention on top of your head. Let us see whether we can just take a few minutes to feel the flow of energy through our system. You might feel it as cool or warm breeze on our hands. You might feel the flow of energy through our body, through the top of our head. We can just take our time to let our own inner energy bring us into that state. We don't need to do anything, we just need to have a desire to enter into the state of meditation. We can ask our energy, inner energy, please bring me into the state of meditation. Please bring me into the state of thoughtless awareness. If you find it difficult, you can say silently within, I am not this body, I am not these thoughts, I am not these emotions, but in truth, I am the pure spirit. I am the pure awareness. All right, we can slowly open our eyes. Now, our topic today is the seventh energy center, which is right here. It is topmost energy center, and in Sanskrit it is called Sahasrara chakra. It means a chakra or the energy center that has 1,000 petals. It's often referred to as the 1,000-petaled lotus. So it is this flower that opens out, that blooms, symbolically speaking, when we are connected to the universal energy. So when our energy, our motherly energy that normally resides at the base of the spine, rises along the spine and pierces all these energy centers, once it pierces the center, it connects us to the universal energy. And so once this connection is established, it might be a little bit loose at the beginning. At the beginning, it might be sort of a bit there and then a bit not there. But once it is fully established, what happens is that we become integrated into the universal energy. So instead of just being a separate entity, we somehow become properly connected to the flow of energy around us and to the flow of divine energy. It's not just some sort of dead material energy. It's not just like gravity or electricity, right? It is a living force, and this force flows through us properly. Not only that it flows through us, anyway it flows through us whether we are connected or not. But once we become connected, it flows through us in a way that we can be guided by it, that we can be better taken care of by it. So there isn't really much you need to do, or you can possibly do, to keep this center open, except actually meditating. So practicing this technique when we are connecting to that universal energy over and over and over again, and we stay connected as much as possible, as long as possible. Or if we lose that connection for a little while and we feel like we are not quite there, that we can reconnect. And for that, you don't necessarily need to sit down and meditate. It is important to meditate properly as a properly established practice in the morning and evening every day. But you can reconnect anytime and anywhere. You can just bring your attention up to this point, ask your energy to come up, and ask your energy to reconnect to the universal energy. And that is all that is really required. Now, this energy center is really not just about integrating into the universal energy, but also about understanding, and not just mentally understanding, but fully understanding and fully feeling out and absorbing and sort of identifying with what that means. And what that means is that we are human beings, and there is a divine power out there, and it is the power of love, and we can become connected with that power. What that also means is that we will have to at some point recognize that this divine power takes care of us. And so whatever happens in our lives is for our betterment. It is for our growth. It is for us to become stronger, better, nicer people, right? It is for us to grow as much as possible. So that is one part of the recognition that has to be there. doesn't have to be instantaneous. It might actually grow over time, but this is something that is needed eventually for this connection to become solid, to become stable. Now, another thing that we have to recognize is that we have our freedom to be connected or not to be connected. And so this cannot be forced on us. We have to have that desire to be connected. We have to have the desire to be part of this picture. And nobody can force us, and the divine power cannot force us. If we don't want it, if we do not do anything to maintain this connection, then it's not going to be forced on us, and we can lose it, right? And then another thing that needs to be recognized at some point is that this connection to this universal energy, to this divine power of love, is the greatest gift, the greatest achievement we can possibly have. And so there might be many things that are important in our lives. And in this particular technique, in Sahaja meditation, we don't have to drop all of them off. We don't have to leave our families and go somewhere to the Himalayas to meditate there. We don't have to abandon our jobs. We don't have to go around and beg for food like the disciples of Buddha had to at the time. We can continue living our lives. In fact, we are encouraged to continue living our lives. But what we have to understand is that this connection is the most precious thing that we are given. It is more precious than our jobs. It is more precious than our family attachments. It is more precious than our social standing. It is more precious than our body and our achievements and whatever else it is that we might treasure. And so what is important is that all these things that might be to some degree important in our lives, they cannot possibly challenge the importance of this connection that we have. So it might be that there are situations where we feel we don't have time to sit and meditate. It is a challenge, right? It is a challenge and it is a test. And so it's not like, every meditation you do is a check mark and those are all accounted for and things like that. But we have to understand that our dedication to this even small amount of time to sit and meditate cannot be challenged by anything else. Whatever else challenges this is claiming to be more important than us being connected with the divine. And so these are very, very serious claims that I'm making here, right? And we don't have to accept them all at the same time. And they don't necessarily have to just appear out of nowhere. But what will happen is if we do meditate sincerely and regularly, then these things will grow within us. And so some of the things that throw us off the most strongly from being connected are our ego on one hand, this yellow balloon here, and our conditionings on the other hand, our superego. And so our ego is the one who will tell us that I am important, and who will tell us that what I want is more important than this connection to the divine power. That is a challenge, right? This is what we will have to recognize, that no, our ego is not important. We are just human beings, and we are talking here about a human being being connected to the divine power. No ego can possibly match the importance to that. So it is about humility. It is about understanding who we are, right? And understanding what we can do and what we cannot do. and recognizing that there is a power that can do anything, but also that that power takes care of us, that power loves us, and whatever challenges we have on our path are there for our betterment. Now, on the other hand, the superego is the one that takes aggression, right? So it is when we allow other people, circumstances, traditions, values put us down. So when we feel like we are worth nothing, that we are nobody, and we cannot possibly become anything worthy, right? And that is another thing that challenges this, because this is the quality of this particular energy center. Because just by virtue of us being able to connect to that universal energy, we are actually brought to the level that we never thought was possible, and everything becomes possible for us. So nobody can actually put us down. Nobody can control us. Nobody can force us to do anything that is not right. So it really is about nourishing that connection and nourishing that right balance of who we are. That we are a human being, but we are the human being who has become connected to the universal energy. Nobody can put us down. Nobody can throw us off this path if we don't want to allow that to happen. But at the same time, we are not in any way higher than human beings. We can never measure up to the immense love and the immense power of that divine energy or universal energy. So it is really about understanding and fully feeling out that place, and then our relationship with that divine power. Now, I think that's enough of talking. There more can be said. We could talk a little bit more about the spirit and what role does the spirit play in this. But maybe that will be some other time, some other occasion. So as I said, the only thing we can do to help this energy center is to meditate. And also this energy center is the integration of all of our subtle system. We have projections of energy, of all the other energy centers around it, in the same way as we have on our hands, except those are the ones that are around this energy center number 7. They are the ones that are actually controlling our actual energy centers. They are the ones, if they are all right, then our energy centers will be all right by themselves. So just by meditating, just by bringing our attention here and allowing this energy center to integrate our whole system becomes balanced. So with that, let us stop and continue. You can read a little bit more about this energy center on our website. So if you click on the energy system here in the menu, this drop-down menu will appear, and this 7th energy center is here. So you can read a little bit more about it if you want. All right. So now let's again sit comfortably. You can readjust whatever we are, whatever is our position, to be fully comfortable. And let's place both our hands open on our lap. If you want, you can close your eyes, otherwise you can look at the image we have on the screen for you. And let's see whether we can again bring our attention to the top of our head, but without forcing it. And let us see whether we can feel the flow of energy through the top of our head without even putting our hand there. Usually we put our hand on top of above our head to feel it. Let's see whether we can feel the flow of energy on top of our head. It's a cool or warm breeze. If we find it difficult, we can take our right hand, place it on top of our head, and settle our attention here. Now let's lift our hand above our head. Let's see whether we can feel the flow of energy from the top of our head. It's a cool or warm breeze. You can move your hand slightly up and down to see where you feel it the most. And if you feel it clearly, then see how far from the top of your head you can feel it. Just move your hand and see. All right, you can place our hand back on our lap. Now let's see whether we can keep our attention on top of our head. And just enjoy this flow of energy and enjoy this connection. This brings us, when we fully recognize what it means, brings us into the state of awe and gratitude. So let's see whether we can feel it out. I'm going to play some music. Let's meditate together. We can still keep our eyes closed for a little while. Let us observe what is our state right now. Let us see whether our attention is indeed staying on top of our head. Let's see whether we are staying in a thoughtless state without any thoughts. Or whether we are at least touching that thoughtless state for short periods of time. Now let's put our attention on our hands. Let us see whether we feel the flow of energy in our hands, in our fingertips, the center of our palm. You might feel it as a cool breeze, and that is the most pure, natural form of this energy. Sometimes we might feel it as heat or tingling, and that is an indication that this energy is balancing our system, removing obstructions from our system. So that's why we feel heat or tingling. Now let's place our right hand on our heart. Keep our left hand open on our lap. And let's see how we feel inside. Let us see what is our emotional state. All right, now we can slowly open our eyes. Now you can raise the energy on your own after we are done with this session. So you don't have to do it all together, but I encourage you to do it, and I encourage you to actually do this every time before you start your meditation and after you're finished with your meditation. And our regular advice is try to meditate twice a day, 15-20 minutes. If you can, and if you're enjoying it, you're welcome to do it for a little bit longer, as much as you enjoy. There is really no time and no point to sit and try to meditate for hours and hours. But sometimes we are in a state that we can enjoy for half an hour, 40 minutes, even an hour, if the circumstances are such that they allow us to do so. So if you can, and if you're enjoying it, by all means do that, especially on the weekend or on days when you don't have to rush anywhere. And it is very important to do foot soak if you can, once a day, ideally in the evening. You can combine it with your evening meditation. If you don't know what the foot soak is, you're welcome to drop us a line and drop us an email, and we will direct you to the instructional video that shows you how to do this foot soaking technique. And what we will do is we will have a little bit of time, so I will open the floor for questions and answers, and I will also launch our end of the session poll just to see how the session worked for you. And if you don't have any questions, then it was nice meditating with you today, and hope to see you next time.